Hello, I'm Carol, and welcome back to the Gentle Writing Life. Today, I want to talk to you about something a little different, about how speech changes when we're living with a neurological condition. So if your speech has changed because of a neurological condition, I want you to know that you're not alone. It happens to so many of us. This is something that isn't always visible to other people, but it can affect so much of how we move through the world. Today, I want to talk about what this really feels like and how we begin to navigate that. Often, people think changes in speech are quite simple, that it's just about talking a little slower or taking a moment to find that right word that we're looking for. But in reality, it's not just about speech. It can affect your confidence, your timing, and your energy, and how comfortable you feel in conversations. It changes how you show up. It changed for me how I show up. And what that means is the timing of doing things. So whether you feel like doing that certain thing, somebody invites you to somewhere you'd love to go, but your speech is slow that day. So you think, well, I'll best not go. I'll not go because it'll just be too much. And people will look at me and I'll struggle more today. I don't want people to worry. Or your energy, it affects your energy because when you're struggling to find every word and push the words out of your mouth, which is what I was doing from the beginning, it takes your energy. It is exhausting, completely exhausting. And if you've been doing that for a while, you can really feel that. And that's why it changes how we show up in the world. Whether you go somewhere, whether you join in with something, and all those things affect our quality of life. So for many of us, the words are still there. The thoughts are still there. Your personality is still there. But the pathway between the thinking and the speaking is just not working in the same way that it was. You might know exactly what you want to say, but it doesn't come out in the way that you expect. I'm turning this over because I'm using a prompt. Because the reason I need to use a prompt, because I can't think of my words and say them at the same time. I would be sat here going, so I don't do that. Okay. Conversations can move quickly and you're still trying to form the response. And sometimes you stop yourself from speaking at all. And what I mean by that is that we know what it's like. You're with your friends or you've met a neighbour and it's exciting and you chat and it's just so lovely. And people talk over each other and people jump in and then there's some laughter and then you feel like you've been lost along the way somewhere. That is what I mean by that. It's not because you don't have anything to say, but because by the time you formulated what you want to say, the conversation has moved on and you feel like you've missed the moment, so you just don't say it. And that affects us. There's also something else that happens that people don't often see. And there's a part of our brain at the front that works for your executive function. And that is part of my problem. So your executive function is how the brain organises and delivers what we want to say. So I might have lots of things, but I can't put them in the right order. And for a while, I would get my words jumbled around, or my sentences not in the right order. And even now, if I want to do something complex, I've had to work out systems for that, which is what this channel's about overall. So sometimes it's not that the words aren't there, it's that the pathway to them has changed. And so your brain is trying to get that word that you're thinking, it's going like that, I can't find the way, can't find the way. And so we can't think of that word. And this has a ripple effect because your confidence can begin to shift. My confidence was thrown for quite a while. That took some recovery for me. You might hesitate more. So you think, oh, I won't say that, it might be wrong. If I start to speak, the words won't mean something that I want to think to mean. And you might question yourself, why can't I do this anymore? Perhaps I shouldn't go to social situations. Perhaps I should just stay at home. From the outside, everything might look the same, and other people don't always understand what's happening. But inside, it can feel very different. You're scrambling for words, undermining yourself, criticising yourself, because that's often what people do. Oh, what an idiot, why can't I find this word? That is how we feel, because it's something that was very similar that we've done all our lives. The turning point is at some point there can be a quiet realization, and that's what happened for me. It doesn't mean that we've lost our voice. It means that we're learning a different way to use it. So your thoughts are there, whatever order they're in, that's fine. And your voice and your mouth and your tongue are working. And if that's the case, then we can make progress. And if any of this isn't working, then we can find other ways to communicate. That way we can return to life how things were before. But that's not the goal that we should have, because for one, I don't ever agree with going backwards. I always only ever want to go forwards. And also, our brain has changed now. We have a neurological condition. Your brain's changed. It could be Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. It could be dementia, Alzheimer's, motor neuron. All of these are all neurological conditions, and mine is multiple sclerosis. And there are plenty of us out there. And you know what? We still deserve a good quality of life, and we deserve to have hobbies, and we deserve to be heard and have our communication the best it can be. I have realised 5 years in, I want a good quality of life. That's what I've been striving for. That's what this channel's about. And so I am an author now, and I'm going to teach you through the gentle writing life that life can still be enjoyable and still have some quality. And this communication and speech is part of that. So once we start to realise that something's different, the thing that brought me peace, and this is what I want for you, is don't think about it like it's a battle. For a lot of people, they go, I'm battling cancer, I'm battling motor neuron, I'm going to beat this multiple sclerosis. That's what I'm going to beat. It's a big battle every day. And that's fine for some people. If that works for them, that works for you, then that's fine. But for some of us, that doesn't work. And it doesn't work for me. And if you don't think it's going to work for you, then this could be an alternative. Because for me, that shift brought something much more peaceful. And that's what made the big difference for me. I am living with multiple sclerosis. I am living with my brain condition. And yes, I have to live with it and manage it, but it doesn't define me, and it's not going to stop me having a good quality of life. My life is different now, but honestly, I'm just as happy in different ways, and I've had to work that out, and that can be exactly the same for you. There are small things that can make a big difference. Giving yourself more time to think, more time to speak, more time to listen to what the other person said, and formulate that in your mind before you then decide what to say. Now, that can be difficult for some people, for many of us, because as human beings, we want to fill the gap. The other person may want to fill the gap, and that is difficult. And I would say to anybody, please don't fill the gap. Just give them a minute, because it's very difficult. So I might start a sentence and I'm struggling for a word and I'm thinking what my word is, and a person goes, da 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 da. Oh, you mean that? Da 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 da. My brain's now going, what's that? What did she say? I was thinking, I missed what she said. What was that? She goes off on a tangent. She's took me over there. Oh no, that wasn't it. But now I can't get back to where I was. So that's what's exhausting in a conversation, because you're trying to work out what you want to say while somebody else is diverting you, just because, quite frankly, they don't have the patience to wait. They don't have the patience. Well, that's not our problem. The fact that that person isn't patient is not your problem. So we have to find a way to deal with that. So I will just say, no, that's not what it was, and then try and go back. I've seen other people go like that, as if to say, please don't interrupt me. But that can be taken the wrong way by some people. So I think I'd only do that if the person's done that a couple of times. But if they have, then I'll just give up. I'll just go, never mind, because I'm beyond the point of battling to speak. Yeah, whoever it is, if they can't listen, then I don't care. It could be a really good friend, it could be a member of my family. I'm not going to battle to be heard. So if they want to hear what I've got to say, they need to make space for that. And usually people get it. And if you start to say to someone, can you just give me a second while I think? No, that's not what it is. No, that's what it is. That it's so rude when people do that, because who are they to think that they know what we're thinking? They go for the most obvious thing, and if it was that, you'll go, oh yeah, thanks for that. But if it wasn't, then they need to just step back a bit and let you find that time. So that's what I would say about that. Allowing conversations to happen at a different pace, and that's what that is. Give other people time to speak, and then they will repeat that too. So we're all slowing down the pace together. Letting people know what you need, even in simple ways, and that might be that. Can you just give me a second while I just try and remember? Or doing that, but just for a second, rather than holding it there, maybe. Just a little one. And that's for you to work out in that specific conversation. I would say finding other ways to express yourself. So this is hilarious at times. So without realizing it, I do this. So if I can't think of a word for something, I'll walk around going like that, and my friend will go, "You're looking for the scissors? They're in that drawer." Yes, great, they're in that drawer. If I'm, going like this, someone understands I'm looking for a pen. Or like this, I'm looking for a paper. I'm like this, I'm looking for a book. And I don't realise I'm doing it. It just is my way of frustrating, getting that out, I think. So that's something to think about. Or you could write it down. Some people have those flip cards, don't they, for certain things, if it's a specific thing. So the Multiple Sclerosis Trust, they do these little cards that say things like, I've got multiple sclerosis, do you know where the nearest loo is? Things like that. Well, if that worked for you, you could make some of those yourself. And so that's something to think about. I could maybe do another another video on that. So yeah, and for me, writing has always been a huge part of finding other ways to express myself. I've done it all my life, and this is why I needed to find a way to write again myself. But when you have short-term memory issues, that's almost impossible. And I'll do other films on that as we go along. But I want us to remember that communication doesn't disappear, it adapts. So you're still going to find ways of communicating, and I will help you. Come here and see where we are. Add things in the comments, and I will help you. If you want to speak to me personally because you think it might help, then I would very happily help anybody with any situation that they have if I can. And if not, then I'll find somewhere that I can refer you to. So it's sometimes finding a community, understanding that other people are dealing with it and they're finding ways, so there's a chance you will too. But you are still you. You're communicating differently, you might think in a different way, but you are still you. Your thoughts are yours, your insights into things, your personality's still there. You're all still there. If you were interested in politics before and you're banging your head against the wall because of what's going on in the world right now, we can find ways for you to communicate that, because politics has been a thing in my life as well. If anything, this experience can deepen how you understand yourself and other people and helps us express what really matters. It's amazing how much small talk happens around us, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that can be frustrating when you're trying to communicate a specific thing. So just bear that in mind as well, because as you find ways of communicating, as we've discussed, that will take away some of that frustration. When I feel frustrated, and there have been times, whatever I'm doing, I just need to stop. Take a breath, do something else, come back to it more slowly. Just approach it in a much slower way than you would normally do. And often we can find a way to get around that. But again, ask for help. Other people might have thoughts and ideas as well. It's a way of connecting with your friends and family more, to let them help. That certainly helped me. I would not have adapted as successfully as I have done over the last 5 years without my family and friends helping me. That's absolutely true. So your voice may sound different, but it can become even more meaningful. And I genuinely believe that when you're struggling to speak, if other people can see you can't speak very well and you begin to speak, then people will listen, especially once they realise that you have speech issues. So in closing, if this is something you're experiencing, then I totally see you and I can empathise. It can be really difficult and frustrating. I understand how much it can affect your day-to-day life. If you'd like to share that experience, you're very welcome to do that in the comments. And if you'd like more conversations like this is what I share here. So today, my speech is really good. I will do a video another day where my speech isn't so good, and then you'll be able to see what I mean when I say it fluctuates. My speech fluctuates day to day, hour by hour, and a lot of people find that, so that means your energy fluctuates too, but that's normal. Everything you're going through is normal. It's normal for you, it's normal for me. It's normal when our brains are challenging something and something's gone wrong with them. You have a neurological condition that's being treated, hopefully, And if you're early on, you might not be on your treatment yet because it can take a while. But your speech can improve. I can help you with that. And the other thing I was going to say is, you may know Chris Kamara. Chris Kamara is a sportsman and a pundit, and he's been on TV, hasn't he? He has aphasia. So it might be worth Googling Chris Kamara and have a look and see what he has to say, because he's been wonderful for starting conversations, and seeing him on TV talking about what he's been going through has certainly helped me. And I think the difference for him is, when you look at Chris, he doesn't look any different. Me, I'm in a power chair often, when I'm outside. So people know straight away that there's something gone wrong. Plus the other things that are going on with my body, people can tell. But there's something different. But Chris Kamara does not look any different. So that's a bit of a different example than my example. So it might be worth going and having a look at that as well. But thank you for staying with me till the end. And look out for other videos. I'll put other things up there. And I've got a video that I'm doing on plotting a book, another one that I'm doing on choosing a genre and things like that, because all those things help. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye.